There was a brief period of time in my early 20s when I was almost ecstatically happy. I had been lonely before that time and I returned to loneliness after, but for a while there, everything was clicking. I worked at a small company, about 30 employees. I liked the work and I loved my coworkers. And I had a boyfriend, a great guy. He was the kind of person that was liked and respected by everyone who knew him. And I was so thrilled that he had picked me to be his girlfriend that I talked about him quite a bit to my coworkers. Now, this was okay at first, but then things started to go a little sideways when I shared some intimate details about my boyfriend's and my sex life. And then the train came off the track totally when I told my coworkers some information about my boyfriend's penis. Now, to be clear, there aren't endless things that can be said about a penis, but to say even one thing was one thing too many, especially because that little company I work for, that is also where my boyfriend worked. And to complete the circle of cluelessness, I had somehow talked myself to believe that my horrifically inappropriate gossip would not and should not blow back on me, but blow back it did. When my boyfriend found out what I had been saying, he told me we were over, effective immediately, and that while we had to work together, he very much looked forward to the day when he would never have to see me again. He didn't give me a chance to respond, who can blame him, but that bothered me. Not because I had wanted to apologize for the pain and embarrassment I had caused him. No, my concern was that perhaps what he had heard wasn't an accurate reflection of what I had said, or at least what I had meant. I thought I could talk him into still wanting to be my boyfriend, and I was going to use Goldilocks and the Three Bears analogy to help me in this effort. Hang in here with me. Now, you remember Goldilocks. She broke into the bear's cabin and immediately started judging their possessions. This chair's too hard, this chair's too soft, the third's just right, the 3 pots of soup on the stove, one too spicy, one too bland, the third just right. Goldilocks was some sort of pre-internet influencer, apparently. But all that marauding through other people's property tired her out, and she went into the bedroom to take a nap. The first bed that she tried was too small, and the next bed was too large, and maybe some of you know where I'm going with this. And the third bed, though, the size of the third bed was just right, and that's what I wanted to tell my boyfriend. You're the third bed. I've been telling our coworkers that you're just right. But my penile fairy tale would not have changed the outcome. I lost a great boyfriend, and let's just say the vibes at work were never the same again. Now, I love moth stories, all of them. But I especially love the ones where someone made a mistake and they tell us what they learned from it. But that is not this moth story. It was like there was a certain payload of crazy in me that had to work its way out of my system on a cell-by-cell basis. So the mistakes continued for a while, but eventually the crazy ebbed, though it took me 20 years before I could even take a wincing glance back at the damage caused by Hurricane Annie. I don't understand her, and though we share the same DNA, she feels like a completely different person to me. But there is one faint signal that made it through the decades that tells me that despite everything, she was doing the best that she could. And I have some empathy, some compassion for her, and for any young person who just gets lost. So for me to be telling this story about her, even if it is to a just right moth audience, she's not really here to defend herself, and it almost feels like gossip. Thank you.